better clinical conversations, better patient care. Learn practical skills anytime, anywhere. NaRCAD Skills Lab.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Skills Lab today on building your team, recruiting and retaining the best detailers. We're excited you're here with us today. I'm Bevan Amira, the Deputy Director here at NaRCAD, and we're looking forward to walking you through the best way to have a healthy and robust academic detailing team.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Morgan Barsamian. I'm the Senior Manager of Training and Education here at NaRCAD. Happy to be here with all of you today. Let's talk about our goals for this Skills Lab. First, we want to help you understand each step of the hiring process in the context of academic detailing. Then, we'll walk you through building the necessary skills to recruit effective detailers for your team. Finally, we'll help you develop the skills needed to successfully retain detailers on your team.
All right. So where do we start? Let's get back to basics and talk about the hiring process. Here are the steps we're going to cover today. So first, there's identifying the necessary skills for the position. And don't worry, we're going to walk through each one of these steps one at a time. All right, what's next, Anna?
The next step is creating a job description that outlines the role's responsibilities, qualifications, and expectations.
And we can help you with that. After you do that, you'll want to promote the position, and we'll give you lots of ideas about where and to whom you can promote the position to find the best candidates.
Then you'll want to review applications and conduct interviews with your candidates, and we'll give you tips for that as well.
Next, you'll want to check references, and after that,
you'll make an offer and you'll extend that job offer to the selected candidate.
Then we want to talk about the part that a lot of hiring information out there doesn't always cover. How do you make sure your employee or employees are really happy doing the work that they're doing, that they're growing in their job, and that they are going to be a part of your academic detailing team for a while because they are really excelling at what they're doing and feeling like they're part of a team that wants them there and wants them to grow. All right.
Okay. Step one of the hiring process, identifying the necessary skills for the detailing position. So we'll start by identifying ideal detailer characteristics to better understand how to select and train detailers who will have the greatest impact on improving clinical decision-making and patient outcomes. So AD synthesizes two approaches, or more so two professional fields. On the left, we have sales, where strong communication skills are key. On the right, we have research, which provides trustworthy, evidence-based information. Academic detailing combines the best of both of these worlds: effective communication and credible evidence. Detailers should be both skilled communicators and ambassadors of high-quality, trustworthy evidence.
100%. It's a great way to describe it, Anna. So let's talk a little more about that ideal detailer. So there's those two pieces Anna brought up. We can really break it into three specific subcategories. So the first is communication skills. The second is a professional background that aligns really well with the work they'll be doing as a detailer. And then, of course, this may seem obvious, but it's so important to think about the specific resources that they will need to devote to this detailing project. A lot of times detailing positions are part and parcel of other public health positions. So it's important to break down what resources look like. And we'll break down each of these pieces one at a time. All right. So when you're looking at communication skills, the first critical skill for an excellent academic detailer is strong interpersonal skills and social intuition. Some people call these soft skills, but we don't really like that around here at NaRCAD. We really want these skills to be seen as incredibly important and valued just as much as what are typically called hard skills. So intuition, what does that look like? It's an ability to really lean in and understand what a person with whom you're speaking needs, what they're looking to gain, and really understanding verbal and nonverbal skills. These can be hard to measure, so the interview process will be really key in ascertaining whether or not your candidates have these skills. And again, along with interpreting verbal and nonverbal cues, it's attuning to those clinicians' needs so that the detailer can build that trusting relationship that's so key to academic detailing.
Strong written and technical communication skills are also essential. These skills allow for the detailer to effectively document and track data from their visits, ensuring that there's accuracy and clarity in reporting. The role of the detailer also involves liaising with clinic staff to facilitate seamless coordination that supports patient care. Additionally, maintaining open and consistent communication with both the internal team and the program staff is crucial to aligning goals, addressing any challenges that come up, and optimizing program operations.
So to put it, at its essence, this person needs to be terrific at all different kinds of communication. But not only that, they need to be able to effectively manage their time and their organizational skills. So think of that as communicating with themselves, being able to maintain consistent outreach with the people that they're going to be meeting, staying on track, focused, and on time, and being accountable. Being able to follow up and provide the kinds of materials, resources, and tools that they said they were going to provide to the clinicians with whom they're meeting, or following up with teammates, as Anna mentioned. So these are all some really key subcomponents of communication skills to think of. You may want to add more, especially if you are thinking about having your detailers be e-detailing or detailing online in a virtual platform. You'll need somebody who can also use their own nonverbal skills, lots of animation, and an ability to convey complex information in a setting like the one that you're on with us right now. All right, what else?
Some additional communication skills that can be used both in person and virtually is one, we have a someone to be adept at facilitating adult learning. So what does that mean? That means requiring a deep understanding of how clinicians acquire and retain the information that you're telling them. So keeping clinicians consistently engaged is crucial, as learning is most effective when it's interactive and directly relevant to their clinical practice. Strong public speaking skills are also essential for delivering clear and concise key messages to clinicians. So, a successful detailer must also be persuasive, using evidence based communication techniques to encourage clinicians to adopt new practices or change their behaviors. The ability to tailor messages to different audiences, whether that's physicians, nurses, pharmacists, or other healthcare professionals, ensures that the information is relevant and resonates with each group and is an important skill for a detailer to have.
I love that, Anna. And also consider that your detailers will be coming across clinicians with all different levels of training. So they may meet with a nurse who's fresh out of school. They may meet with a clinician who's been practicing for 30 years. So that's another place where that adaptability is so key. Now let's talk about professional background. This is an area where a lot of folks assume there's only one way to do detailing and that it has to be clinician to clinician. But here at NaRCAD, we have seen over 1,000 folks be trained from myriad backgrounds that have to do with public health, education, sales and marketing, clinical skills. And again, it comes down to having that sensational communication ability and really picking up on the knowledge, the clinical knowledge. So a background in public health, medicine, nursing, pharmacy, or related fields is key, but it's not critical. It's not the only way to go. If you can find somebody who's able to be fluent in clinical content, really understand evidence-based medicine and be up to snuff on guidelines, practices, everything that's happening right now, or who can figure out how to solve problems and find answers if they're not completely up to snuff, that's the person you want. And a lot of this can be taught. We like to say here at NaRCAD that a detailer is sort of like a librarian. It's the person who connects somebody to the information. And so just as you wouldn't go into a library expecting a librarian to have read every single book on the stacks, you should really find a detailer who says, I know exactly where that information is, and I can walk you through an overview of why it's so important, versus I've read every single study on hypertension. So keep that in mind. Anna, over to you to talk about motivational interviewing, which is such a key part of academic detailing.
Experience or training in motivational interviewing is a valuable asset, as AD is built on core foundations that emphasize effective communication and personalized engagement. Reflective listening plays a crucial role in fostering meaningful conversations that detailers will be having with clinicians, ensuring that concerns and priorities are acknowledged. A thorough needs assessment allows for a deeper understanding of specific challenges, guiding that conversation toward relevant solutions and relevant key messages. Finally, customization is essential, as it tailors information and strategies to the unique needs of each individual or their clinic, enhancing the impact of that AD intervention.
All good stuff.
So let's move into discussing resources to devote to the project, that third category for an ideal detailer. A strong commitment to the goals of the AD intervention is essential. Detailers should have a genuine interest in supporting clinicians, improving patient care, and driving evidence-based practice change.
We hope that folks won't only have an interest, they'll be passionate about it, so that when they show up to meet with clinicians who are stressed out, they meet those challenges with passion and commitment. And so finding someone who really cares about the clinical topics you'll be working on is key. But so is the practical stuff, like the availability to dedicate to training. Um, for us here at NaRCAD, we offer a 12 to 16 hour intensive training for 2 to 3 days virtually. So that's where this bullet comes from. There are other ways to prepare for academic detailing, really kind of trying to piece it together on your own, watch videos on our website and things like that. So there are other ways than being intensively trained, but we highly recommend you join us. It's really a way to be ready in less than a week. And of course, there are trainings that you can hold in your own organization that have to do with the specific clinical content that you'll be teaching. So here at NaRCAD, we train on the interpersonal and interactive communications techniques of academic detailing. We don't focus on specific subtopics all of the time. So if you're planning an intervention on, say, opioid safety to prevent overdoses, you'll want to make sure there's also time built in for training for your upcoming detailers to learn about the specific key messages and clinical content related to overdoses and opioid safety that you want them to convey. So don't forget to build that in.
As we mentioned, consistent communication is key to success. So detailers should have the capacity to participate in regular calls or check-ins with their detailing team to discuss any challenges that come up, to share experiences from the field, and refine their approach to detailing based on the feedback from their peers.
Yep, approaches should always be growing, changing, morphing based on everything that you're learning as a detailer. The most important thing too isn't just those field visits. A lot of times we think of detailing as the one-to-one FaceTime between a detailer and a clinician, but that pre and post visit work is so critical. So making sure that you ensure that there's time for your detailers to prepare for a visit, and what that looks like really varies based on your location, the content that you are going to be detailing on, and so forth. But then tracking data after the visit, making sure that your detailers have the time to really sit and reflect on the visit, make notes and chart whatever data you're looking for them to capture as part of your intervention.
This bullet really depends on the program that you are in. However, detailers should be committed to making at least one visit per week or another agreed upon frequency, ensuring that there's steady engagement with healthcare providers. We here at NaRCAD think that one visit a week helps detailers stay on top of their information and engage with the community and the clinicians they're working with.
Of course, we would love if folks did more than that. It, again, as Anna mentioned, really depends on capacity, resources, and all of that jazz. Another piece, along with all of these great subcomponents of resources, is flexibility. That ability to schedule AD visits outside of traditional working hours is really important. As we know, clinicians are super busy, so sometimes the best visits happen early in the morning or later in the evening if you have somebody working sort of daytime hours at a clinic. If you are going to be detailing or have your detailers meeting with folks in a different setting, say an emergency room, you're going to need to make sure that your detailers are flexible and able to meet folks outside of the traditional working 9 to 5 hours. And last but not least,
if covering rural areas or multiple jurisdictions and the program conducts in-person visits, then detailers should have the ability to travel as needed. Ensuring that there's accessibility to clinicians in diverse practice settings is critical for reaching providers who may otherwise lack access to evidence-based support, especially in-person evidence-based support.
yeah, that's a really good point, Anna. All right, back to our home screen, our home checklist here of the hiring process. The next piece is creating a job description. Let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. Now, we do have an online job description template that we love. We really thought hard about how to set this up and make it easy for folks like you who are watching the Skills Lab to have something to work with. And so you can scan it here, or you can check out narcad.org and find it under our program planning hub. We're not going to walk through every single line of this, but we'll give you a flavor of what a really solid job description can look like. And you are more than welcome to take this and run with it. So let's break this down.
At the top of that resource, we have the position description, which serves as a clear and compelling introduction to the role of a detailer. This section should provide a concise yet informative overview of what an AD role looks like, including the purpose and how a detailer can contribute to the larger goals of the program.
We also encourage you to write more here about the specific project you're going to be working on. That way you'll attract folks who may already have a background in some of the clinical content you'll be focusing on, may already have experience working in outreach on that content. So again, the more specific you can be here, the better. And it's always great to include links to your organization or your project if you have them. All right, next up, just as with any job description, you'll want to break down responsibilities. So here you'll see a bulleted list that you can take a peek at either by pausing now or looking at this entire job description at your leisure. But the idea is to talk about what they're going to be committing to, not just on a day-to-day level, but in terms of their training, what visits actually look like. You can't expect anyone to know what academic detailing is because it is such a niche field. And so being able to explain in that second bullet there, delivering the service of one-to-one educational visits to physicians and health professionals is key. Again, you'll want to include a little information about the relationship building, outreach as a central piece of it, and being a liaison between the physician community and program staff, as well as capturing visit data.
And then we have qualifications. The qualifications should outline what the team is looking for in a candidate, including the essential skills, the experience, and personal qualities that will make them successful in this role. This might include things that we've discussed earlier, like the strong communication skills, the ability to engage clinicians in meaningful conversations, a passion for evidence-based practice, and adaptability in diverse healthcare settings. You can also include preferred qualifications as well, so that people that don't meet all of those are still willing to apply.
Yeah, I love that, Anna. And of course, you'll want to make sure that you adapt this to be as specific as you want to be. So we have some information here that's suggested around possessing a valid driver's license. That's, of course, only necessary if someone needs to drive somewhere. If you're doing e-detailing, that's less relevant. So think long and hard about what you want folks to be able to bring. And please know that in the first bullet, we have 3 to 5 years of professional experience. That's just a suggestion. You can always be open to folks who are recently out of school, or folks who may have a tiny bit less of that professional experience, but have other experience in other relevant areas. All right, we're back to the drawing board again. And now step 3 is promoting the position. You've got your job description. Where does it go? So when you're promoting your detailing position, it's an open position. You want to think about how to get the best candidates possible. So first, let's look at internal considerations. Where is your academic detailing program housed? Are you within a university, a public health department, a government agency, maybe a health system? Think about that and start thinking about leadership, which you who is listening may be a part of. Get leadership support so you can make sure that your program will not only be sustainable and successful, but that leadership can help promote the position. Get things going, get some buzz going, word of mouth, and think about relevant places to share and post that information.
Many academic detailing programs are housed within public health departments. However, professionals in these settings often face significant workloads. They wear a ton of hats, and there's an increased risk of burnout. When recruiting public health professionals for detailing programs, it's crucial to be mindful of their existing responsibilities and their workloads. Providing adequate support and flexibility can help ensure engagement while promoting sustainability within the detailing team.
While you're thinking about that, consider if there's somebody on your current team, whether you're in public health or otherwise, who it might be a great opportunity for them to pivot. Maybe you've got somebody who's full time and has been in a certain role, and now they're ready for something new. Could this be a promotion for them? Or do you have somebody who's part-time who might be able to take on an extra 10 hours a week or a month? So again, consider your current staff as a potential place to mine for some gold.
Short-term or flexible positions can be a nice solution for expanding capacity without overburdening that current staff. So seeking part-time professionals or individuals engaged in flexible projects allows for the integration of additional responsibilities without long-term commitments. This approach not only broadens the candidate pool that you have, but it also ensures that the detailing program can adapt to evolving needs while still maintaining sustainability.
I love that, Anna. And of course, you'll want to think about the obvious question of where's your funding coming from. So if you're looking at funding and you know that this is a pilot project, going about this last bullet here with a contract position could be the best way to go. So all things to consider. We also have a few more considerations.
These are external considerations that the AD team should be thinking about when promoting the detailing position. So first, connect with professional societies and associations. Make sure to leverage existing networks to reach and recruit professionals already engaged in evidence-based medicine, engaged in public health, or clinical practice. So think of the American Nurses Association and things like that.
Yeah, great ideas. And then you'll want to think about academic institutions. We mentioned this a moment ago when we were looking at the job description, the potential of looking at folks who are fresh out of school. You can also look at students themselves. Maybe you have fourth year or third year pharmacy students. Think about who's in your network, who might be a new opportunity to build a new relationship with a nearby public health school, pharmacy school, nursing programs, and so on. So look in your own backyard.
Additionally, you might want to work with hospital leadership, physician groups, and quality improvement teams within health systems to identify potential candidates for detailing roles. This is a great spot to check out if your detailing program is within a health system or a hospital system.
You'll also want to consider coalitions and working groups. Now, we mentioned that folks might not have backgrounds in clinical content, but they might have a relevant experience in outreach. If you find somebody who's done patient navigation, patient outreach, public education, this could be somebody who is housed within a working group, a coalition. Think about folks who are very much focused on a specific subtopic or subpopulation. So there are lots of affinity groups out there who may be working on projects that are related to folks who may be unhoused or folks who may use drugs. If you're working on opioid safety, this could be a great group to be in touch with. And even if you don't find candidates by doing this, you will be able to start building partnerships, which are so key to academic detailing interventions, especially if you're looking to implement those interventions as part of a community-wide strategy. So any outreach you do is always going to be something that could benefit you in the future.
Finally, don't forget to partner with local, state, and national health authorities to align detailing efforts with public health priorities in your community. This will help promote the detailing position, and you can definitely recruit detailers by the connections you make with these folks as well.
So when you're thinking about these external considerations, there's the practical piece that they may have listservs, job boards, university sites that they can upload your position to. But again, it's also about building relationships. So consider this a kind of detailing of its own as you meet people who can help find the right candidates for the position. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about recruiting. I just mentioned some job boards, and listservs. The professional networks that you can be connected with are so key. A lot of them have their own websites, and they can, as I mentioned, take your job description and get it a little more visibility. You'll also want to think about contract recruitment if you have the budget for it. So can you throw some of your money towards someone whose sole job is to recruit for this position for you? Some of us, it might be a fantasy to be able to do that, especially when money is tight, but just something to think about. You can leverage existing relationships as we've been mentioning. So again, don't overlook those external partners, community organizations. Sometimes just having a conversation over coffee with someone in an organization that may seem like they might not have opportunities or folks who are waiting to do this kind of work may end up surprising you. Oh, hey, I'm actually ready to move on from my job and I would love to do this kind of work. Or, hey, my sister's a nurse and she would be great at this. So again, top up your new project and your new positions that you will be hiring for. And of course, try as much as you possibly can to get the word out there via events and conferences. Promote these opportunities, network, mention them at presentations you may already be having about your project. Think if you can be part of an exhibit table if possible. Things like that are really, really key.
Okay, the fourth step here, review and interview applicants. So start by assessing the cultural fit of a candidate. Consider the shared values. Ensure that the candidate demonstrates a commitment to the organization's mission and vision, particularly in advancing evidence-based medicine and clinician education. Also, we mentioned this, but consider the candidate's communication style and evaluate their ability to engage in constructive feedback and team discussions in a clear and concise way. Additionally, consider the adaptability of the candidate. Determine how well the candidate adjusts to change, learns new skills, and navigates challenges. Both the communication skills and the adaptability can be found out by using open-ended interview questions and through reference checks, which we'll talk about shortly. Finally, assess the candidate's attitude. Seek candidates who are collaborators, who have team spirit, and a growth-oriented mindset. A strong cultural fit makes sure that detailers are not only knowledgeable and skilled, but also aligned with the organization or the program's values, making them more effective and hopefully more excited about their role.
All key things to consider. Now, some of you who are listening may not have a team yet. It might just be you. So maybe team spirit isn't something that applies just yet. You may just be seeking someone to do part-time detailing for a short period of time by themselves. In that instance, you want to find somebody who's able to be autonomous, able to really rock and roll on their own and connect with you or other members of leadership as they need to. So again, think specifically for the role you are fitting. Some other cultural fit considerations that are really key for any role, but especially in this realm of public health, communications, and education, is to avoid bias and really strive for that diverse workforce. So let's talk about how you do that. You want to make sure your interview questions are legal and non-discriminatory. That sounds so obvious, but a lot of folks don't know which questions are legal and are illegal. It's really important to refresh yourself so that you are creating an interview climate and hopefully a working climate, if that person signs on, that's free of any bias and discrimination and invites people to be their full selves safely. You also want to make sure that your organizational values align with the candidates that you're bringing in and making sure that you are interviewing candidates based on standards versus your own personal preferences. So that's tricky. You're going to have to sit and think as an interviewer, what are my own biases? Everyone has them. It's important to sit and think about the ways in which we might have biases that, might seem more minor, like, oh, you're from the same part of the country as I am. Oh, you're from the same city, feeling a kinship there, to, oh, you have the same cultural background as I do. That's where things get really tricky. You really want to make sure you're being open to people from various diverse walks of life and that you're not favoring certain candidates for elements that could be perceived as discriminatory or favoring. The other piece you want to do is not make assumptions about folks. That's something that we sometimes do automatically. So again, this is where you'll have to do some self-reflection. We really encourage you to go online, take some quizzes and do some reading about implicit bias to really understand where some of your blind spots may be, and make sure that when you are welcoming candidates to interview, you're not already peppering the conversation with your own preconceived notions about who that person may be based on their background or their demographics, where they're from, things like that. So again, try not to favor candidates. It's really, really important to be open and give everybody the same fair shot. And also make sure your interview panel is diverse so that it's not just one person interviewing, and that the people who are interviewing potential candidates aren't all from the exact same walk of life. Really keep your eye out for your own biases on ageism. There should never be any sexism, racism, ableism, anything like that. Your space should be an open and welcoming space, always.
I love that, Bevan. All right, we are going to take a moment to work through a case study related to considerations when hiring.
We love case studies here at NaRCAD. If you don't know us, you will find that out.
Yes. All right. So Alex is a highly knowledgeable clinical pharmacist with a strong background in evidence-based medicine and public health. However, they struggle with verbal communication, often finding it difficult to articulate complex information in an engaging way. Alex is passionate about improving patient care, but lacks confidence with public speaking and interacting with colleagues outside of the pharmacy setting. With the information that was presented, do you think Alex is a strong candidate for a detailing position? Take a moment to think about that, and then Bevan will share what we think here at NaRCAD.
All right, so looking at all of this, we've got some great stuff here with Alex, some passion, some great knowledge with clinical pharmacy, evidence-based medicine, public health, but some struggling with some of the core elements of academic detailing, verbal communication, breaking down complex info. We're gonna go with probably not on Alex, but maybe worth an interview, right? So feel that out. Or maybe you've already interviewed them to figure this stuff out. Ask your interview panel what they think. But again, this is a situation we talk about a lot here at NaRCAD when people ask us about hiring. You can have someone who is the top foremost expert in a clinical area that you'll be working on in your intervention, but who does not have the communication savvy that is so critical to AD. And that's where you really want to be careful, because that communication it's not just nice to have, it's the essential element of academic detailing. Someone like Alex might struggle and would go in to meet with a clinician and accidentally end up lecturing at them, which is the last thing that you want to do and the least likely thing to promote behavior change. Again, since relationships are so key to evidence-based behavior change, Alex really isn't quite the right person. And if you're not familiar with enough about what kinds of traits great academic detailers need on a more broad level, we have some more information in our 101 webcast that you can check out. All right, over to you, Anna, to sound off on whether you think this next case study is the right hire. So we've got Jamie. Jamie has a background in public health and community outreach. She has extensive experience working with diverse populations and advocating for health equity, as well as leading discussions on public health topics. She's a strong communicator. She's skilled in building strong relationships and highly comfortable engaging with healthcare professionals. However, you knew there was going to be a however. She doesn't have any formal clinical training and lacks experience with clinical guidelines and medical terminology. So based on this, we're going to let you here listening, and I'm going to ask Anna, is Jamie a strong candidate for the detailing position? What do you think, Anna?
I would say yes, with support. So Jamie has fantastic things going for her. She's a great communicator. She's engaged with the community. Although she may require additional clinical training, her strong ability to engage, listen, and support clinicians in behavior change makes her a really promising candidate. Her expertise in communication and relationship building and public health are all valuable assets in this role. Again, we can teach Jamie where to go if she doesn't know all the clinical information or how to find that information. She can be that librarian of sorts where she connects the clinician to the information that they need, and we can teach her how to do that.
I love that, Anna, and I love that you say we, because we here at NaRCAD too are here to support you in getting folks ready for the field.
All right, now let's look at the fifth step here. Check references. You want to consider a few things when you're checking references. First, be sure to obtain consent from the candidates before contacting any of their references, just so they know that you're reaching out. Second, do some digging to ensure the references are credible and relevant. And you want to make sure that they're professional references as well, and those from recent jobs that the candidate has held. Finally, ask references open-ended questions to gain deeper insight into the candidate's specific skills and experiences, helping to determine if they are the right fit for that position.
Yeah, and you may want to ask specific questions about their ability to pivot during challenging moments, about their ability to be adaptable and flexible, asking questions like, so what does Jamie do when things go a totally different way than was planned? Because that's how academic detailing can go. So again, thinking about all of the great content that we shared around what an ideal candidate would have, take that and turn those into questions during your reference checks. All right, this step sounds obvious, but this is where you make an offer. So extending an offer to your ideal top candidate has a lot of considerations you'll want to think of other than just saying, we'd like to offer you the job. So Anna and I will walk you through these. The first one is compensation, and you absolutely need to think about this in advance of the offer. You want to make sure your salary and benefits package align with industry standards. Now, looking up academic detailing online is kind of tricky. There's not a massive industry footprint. So compare it to pharmaceutical detailing as an industry. And think about the areas and skills and training of that candidate. So if somebody has 10 years of nursing, you're going to want to offer them a different kind of competitive salary than somebody who maybe has a bachelor's in public health and has been working for 2 years. If you have somebody who's been in pharmaceutical sales and is pivoting to the side of academic detailing, and they've been doing pharmaceutical sales for a couple of decades, you're going to offer them something different. So there's no one size fits all for an academic detailer. You'll want to look at their specific background and make a really measured decision about what to offer them.
Then you want to talk about the roles and responsibilities. So clearly defining the job title, the key responsibilities, and expectations in writing is essential for setting clear goals and ensuring alignment with program needs. A well-structured job description helps attract the right candidates and provides clarity on the scope of work. When developing job descriptions, consider using the content from NaRCAD's existing materials like the one we showed you earlier. You do not need to reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely. We never want you to have to do that. Hence our Skills Lab series. All right, onboarding. So when you're onboarding somebody, you really want to outline all of the steps, including training, support, and not just technical training and support, but will you be able to pair that onboarded detailer with a current detailer? Will they be able to shadow somebody? What do their first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, couple of months look like? And if you need help figuring that out, you can always reach out to us. And we also offer training and coaching packages. So if you need somebody who has expertise in academic detailing to figure out the best way to prepare somebody for the field and to plan your program, we are here for you.
And finally, addressing the candidates' questions. So encouraging candidates to ask questions and express their concerns is essential in helping them feel confident about their decision to join the AD program. Since AD is a new field for many people, let's face it, providing space for open dialogue ensures they fully understand the role and the expectations. Addressing their questions early on also allows for transparency and builds trust and reinforces the enthusiasm for the position.
You can always take the candidate's questions and adapt your onboarding process for the next person that you invite on as well. So for your first detailer, really take some extra time to learn from them about what they're experiencing as part of the entire process of hiring. And last but not least, we will wrap up our hiring process with the last step.
Retaining employees. So employee retention, things to consider. Schedule consistent check-ins, whether as a full team or one-to-one meetings with supervisors where feedback is encouraged. Acknowledge employee achievements and milestones through verbal recognition or team meetings in front of the whole group. Provide access to training programs, mentorship, and career development opportunities to enhance the skills and promote growth in the role. And finally, encourage a sense of belonging by helping employees connect with the broader NaRCAD community. Staff can join the NaRCAD mailing list to stay up to date on all of our upcoming events, and we'll share some of the ways that they can stay connected to NaRCAD in a moment.
I loved what you said about a sense of belonging. Sometimes that can be the number one reason why we stay with a job or we leave. So, as Anna mentioned, we are going to talk about a couple of different ways that you can support any of your future employees in feeling connected and like they belong to our greater community of over a couple thousand folks who work in public health education. You really don't have to go it alone. And this includes you. If you're a program manager listening or someone who's brand new to detailing, you can join our community check-ins. Please do check out all of our community offerings under the community tab at narcad.org. The check-ins are just one of the things that we offer. They are a quarterly all group check-in where we have large group discussions, small group case studies, and solutions building together in groups of 4 or 5. They're a lot of fun and people get a lot out of them.
And if you're interested in being matched one-to-one with an AD community member and networking with a group of dedicated detailers or program managers, then the Peer Connection program is definitely calling your name. The program runs from April to October each year, and you also get a free welcome bag and free registration to some of our events.
So do check it out. We don't know when you'll be watching this skills lab, but if you've missed this year's cohort, you can always sign up next year and you can reach out to us in the interim for some extra support. Please do check out all of our other technical assistance offerings. Our website is really robust. We've got so many learning courses, tools, toolkits. As we mentioned, community resources, our events are terrific, and we've got great media content, including our podcast that Anna runs. We have a blog, a newsletter. Please don't miss out on any of this good stuff.
We also have a how-to guide for recruiting detailers on our website. You can access it via the QR code here. It walks you through all the considerations that you need to consider when building a detailing team.
So you can either pause and scan this here, or again, you can go to our program planning hub and look under for all of our great how-to guides. This is just one of several. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love you to check out our 101 webcast, AD 101, the power of clinical outreach education. It really provides you with a bird's eye view and a granular view of all the things you'll need to be thinking about if you're new to academic detailing and you are building a program. So learn more about the strategy and the basics of building a program under our webcast tab at narcad.org.
Thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate it. Please fill out the evaluation using the QR code on the screen so that we can continue to improve our skills lab. Thank you all. Take care.